Welcome to Anna's Springtime Treats, and you know what? A springtime treat for me includes granola, and I am making these mango blueberry granola parfaits that are out of this world. And it starts with a really good granola recipe. So let me get right to it. When it comes to making a good granola, you want to layer in the flavors. And by introducing heat, well, that's the easiest way to do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is heat up my honey and butter with some flavorings. Honey is the only way I sweeten the granola. I don't add any other sugar to the granola itself. And now I'll add some butter. The butter really helps promote an even browning and a nice crunchiness. So even when your granola is sitting in a yogurt parfait, it stays nice and crisp. When I think of granola in the wintertime, I think of heavier flavors, cranberry and clove and allspice and orange zest, almost Christmas-like, but in the springtime, I lighten it up. First, I add the zest of not just one, but 2 lemons. And I want this lemon flavor to steep into the honey, so that way when I toss it with all my other granola ingredients, the flavor's even and you don't get any bitterness. I do add a touch of cinnamon because it is so familiar, but my big springtime spice addition is ground cardamom. It has a citrus characteristic, but also a little light peppery bite, and it suits springtime flavors. I use cardamom all the time in my spring baking. It goes well with strawberries and rhubarb and raspberries and of course, lemon. Now I'll pop this over low heat just to melt the butter, work in the spices, and get a chance for the oils within the lemon zest to cook out into the honey. While that melts, I can start on the dry ingredients. I'll be honest, you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to making granola. Oats are typically at the base, but if you have other flattened grain flakes like spelt or barley, you could use those as well. I do like the addition of nuts in my granola. I'm using sliced almonds, so they'll toast up at the same rate as the rolled oats. You could use a different kind of nut if you want to, but I steer clear of heavy wintry nuts like hazelnuts or whole almonds and go for something lighter. If you don't want to use almonds, pecans or walnuts would be a great substitution. I'm also adding sunflower seeds, and if you're making granola, why not add a little extra fiber? I'm adding oat bran. So this coats the granola very well, binds with the honey, adds a ton of extra fiber. It's actually my secret to making the fluffiest oatmeal. But oatmeal is such a winter thing. We're making a springtime granola. And for a little color and texture, some whole flax seeds. I'll just give this a quick stir to combine. Once your butter has melted, you can add it to the grain mixture. Make sure you get all the grains and the nuts fully coated. And now you spread this onto a baking tray. This is ready for the oven, which I've preheated to 325, and you let this take half an hour to cook. What's important is you want to stir it at every 10 minutes. That way the grains and the nuts toast evenly. Oh, this granola smells amazing, but we're not quite done yet. While your granola is still hot from the oven, you want to stir in your dried fruits. Now clearly, I don't want to add the dried fruits before they go in the oven or they'll burn over half an hour. But while the granola is still warm, it'll plump up the dried fruits. And I opt for spring flavors. I go for golden raisins, I've got dried blueberries, I've got dried mango, and then some toasted coconut flakes. And just give this a gentle stir. Once this cools, then I can pack it in an airtight container and it keeps for at least 3 weeks. But I'm not done with the granola yet. Once cooled, I want to make my mango blueberry yogurt parfaits. A parfait is typically creamy and layered, and so this yogurt version, well, that's exactly what it is, a lovely parfait. The first thing I want to do is match my yogurt flavor with the flavors in the granola. I like to use a Greek yogurt because it stays in place when you layer it in a parfait. And I'll add to that just a touch of honey and some lemon zest. Keeping flavors light and spring-like, I've got a combination of fresh blueberries and diced mango. The nice thing about spring is we can anticipate the fruits that are coming into season. So as your seasons change, you could move into a rhubarb compote, fresh strawberries, raspberries. What a delicious way to start a spring day. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Anna's Spring Favorites. And I've got more recipes planned, so I'll see you again soon.